Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Star Wars Vintage Dude. I hope you're having a great day. Hope things are going well. Yesterday, if you haven't seen the episode 1, check it out. And if you like it, subscribe. We're going to be doing the same thing today. So if you watch that episode, this is what the second one's going to be about too. I've got another box of Star Wars figures here that were in my storage unit for years. So I don't even know what's in this guy, but we are going to open it up ASAP. Let's get to it and see what's in this. First order of business, we have, all right, sitting right on top is the Mail Away Emperor Palpatine figure. This one I remember having to, get proofs of purchases cut out from the backs of action figures. He comes with his cane. You had to mail that in. You had to wait a long time. I probably pestered Neil, the mailman, multiple times. Where's my figure, man? I was just so excited to get that in the mail. I also remember dropping that one on my foot, and that was not a pleasant experience. So he was one of the heavier figures. Here we've got Jedi Luke. He's got his blaster in there. I know he came with a soft goods cape, but I don't see that cape in here. And he also came with a green lightsaber. But, when you talk to your friends at church and school and stuff, this also came with a blue lightsaber too, which is really hard to get. And so you would be like, hey, what color is your Luke's lightsaber? You'd be like, mine was blue. What? Where'd you get that? So always trying to figure that out and, talk to your friends and see who had what. This is Edit Driver. Pulled a couple of him out yesterday. This one's got his gun in there with him. I think it's the right gun, but nice figure. Again, one of my faves. The helmet doesn't move or anything like that, but that was always one of my favorites to collect. He had those tubes that went down the breathing system. I thought that was pretty sweet. All right, original Chewbacca here. Chewbacca was one of the figures that stayed the same throughout the entire series. They never really gave him a resculpt or anything. He has a non-movable head too. And yeah, he's got the blue eyes, which are really cool. Yeah, neat figure. I don't know. He's got the crossbow in there and stuff. I know there's like a version where there's like, it's clear or something like that. I don't know if that's that one or not. There's a Han and Carbonite. This came with Boba Fett's ship, the Slave One. This is always a fun piece too. It was a little smaller than the actual figure of Han, so I don't remember if I don't think he actually fit in there, and they never put his like toes and stuff like that. It just kind of like fit in the Slave One, but it wasn't really up to scale to match the figures. There are two stormtroopers, two Imperial stormtroopers in here, and they have their guns and stuff. These are standard. These are also two figures that never changed through the entire line, but you had to have these guys. These were the staple for completing your dark side of the Force. I know this guy. This is Tebow. He's one of the Ewoks in the Return of the Jedi. I think he has a staff too. It's not in there, but he had like a little hatchet or a staff or something too. He had a pig type of like rubber goods on his head that you could take off and carry around. Put on some other figures. Ooh, here's a neat one. This was, I think the Duloc, like general or something like that. He is like the King Gornish, maybe. I can't remember his name. He's got a coin in there and stuff. He's got kind of like some sort of bone-handled spear or something like that. But that was the Dulocs were part of the bad guys for the Ewok series that was released after Return of the Jedi. And this is a so-so show. But here is the next one. This is a B-Wing pilot. He is, again, from the Return of the Jedi. He came with a Power of the Force coin. I don't have that one. This is probably just the standard release. He's got his little gun in there, which was very similar to some of the other guns. I think Leia Poncho that we looked at yesterday was in there. He's got a little frost on him. Sometimes that happens with when you store figures and stuff like that. Sometimes they get frost. Here are two of the original Ben Kenobis. This one on the right here is held together with a rubber band. I think his leg broke off due to some hard Jedi action growing up. He is missing his lightsaber, and I'm sure that is super glued on there. The second one, he does not have his lightsaber either. And I think these guys came with the yellow one. They had like a yellow lightsaber that went up the arm. Or it was blue, I can't remember. It's not there, but it has the vinyl cape. They didn't do the soft goods at that point. They were into vinyl capes. Next one on top is from the Droids line. This is George Doucette. He was one of the helpers in the Droid series, and a little bit punky and stuff like that with the mohawk, which I thought was pretty sweet. You know, when they came out with this book of Boba Fett, I thought, you know, it would be sweet if those misfits that they ended up helping out with, if they actually somehow tied these guys into it from the Droids line. I thought that would have been a much better spin. Okay, check this out. These are all mini Darth Vaders. This came from the Micro collection. These are in here, all right? And last time, yesterday, we episode 1, we pulled out a Stormtrooper, an Imperial Hoth Stormtrooper, Snowtrooper, from the same series. So that tells me that there's going to probably be some more in here. These were really cool collectibles, too. We'll dive into those a little bit further. Got 2 Vaders here. Both of these Vaders are missing their lightsaber. They're missing their capes. So these guys, you know, seen a lot of action and led a lot of battles against the Jedi. Here I've got 2. I think both of them are sensor scope R2-D2s. So these came out with the Empire Strikes Back, and they kind of dumped at that point the original dome-shaped R2-D2, and they just went with this one, and then they went with the one I showed you yesterday in the episode 1, which was the lightsaber R2, and they just stopped making the regular dome one after I think it was Empire. Okay. Here are our Bespin Leias, which are really neat. She's really petite in these. She carries that little single blaster that's down at the bottom. You can see that. Had a vinyl cape good. I know that there are 2 versions of her. This one is really worn. But there was one version that had the full neck painted, and then there was one that had just the open neck. This one is, you can see that it's, over time it's faded and stuff like that, but those are the 2 variants of that. So what we got here, we have a Duloc Scout. This is from the Ewoks line. He has a staff. He comes with a gold coin. So at the end, they were putting in some coins with either the Power of the Force. Here is a Han Solo in Carbonite Power of the Force coin. If you remember in episode 1, we found that one in that storage box. This is an Ewok. I think this one might be Paplo. This is one of the last ones to come out too. They kind of like, at the end, they just started producing a lot of Ewoks. Oh yeah, Lando Calrissian from The Empire Strikes Back. This is the No Smile version. There are 2 versions of him, 2 variants. This one is the one with the, he doesn't have any teeth, but there is another one with teeth. I remember, like, you never knew who Lando was at first. Was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Always a mystery. All right. Weequay Skiff-Guard. He comes with a Force pike. He was the guy who kind of like shoved Luke off the skiff. If you remember that famous scene from Return of the Jedi where he's forced into the Sarlacc pit. Speaking of Return of the Jedi, here is Princess Leia in the bush disguise. No helmet, no staff. I don't know what happened to those, but by far one of the coolest figures with that removable helmet. I remember like G.I. Joe back in the day was producing all these figures with helmets, with movable arms, and I just remember having a flamethrower G.I. Joe, and you know, I was like, these guys are so cool. I was telling my parents, and they're like, you got to make a choice. You're going to pick Star Wars, or you're going to pick G.I. Joe. Well, I had to stick with Star Wars, of course. There's Leia, but I don't see the helmet that went with that. But that was one of the key features that I really liked about all of these figures. Here is the Cloud Car Pilot. I've got 2 of them, probably one for each section of the cloud car itself, because if you remember, there was like, you know, there are 2 seats in that twin pod cloud car pilot. It's like a tongue twister to say that. Twin pod cloud car pilot. Okay, whatever. All right, moving on. Here is Princess Leia in Hoth gear. You can see kind of like the shades and stuff are different on this. One's a real pink, one is more yellow and stuff like that. Again, there are a couple of variants with this, with the hair colors and stuff like that. She had that real thin blaster. They're not in there, so I probably lost those. Those were easy ones to lose over time because the blaster was just so thin. Here we've got Bosk, the infamous bounty hunter who is after Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back. He's along that whole ledge of the Imperial Star Destroyer, and bounty hunters, we don't need their scum. And then you hear his famous line, snarl! And he does that. This guy was totally cool. This was like the AT-AT commander, and he's got his gun in there and stuff like that. I thought this was sweet because he had his like glasses on top, and they were starting to produce this. I thought, oh man, that'd be really cool if you could put those glasses down, and you know, so this sun and Hoth when it hurt his eyes. This was by far a game changer. This was Luke Skywalker in his Hoth outfit. And oh man, this was so cool. He had his glasses down around his neck. He had this, you know, scarf that kind of swayed and was attached to his helmet. He's got a gun. He's got binoculars. He's got belts. He's got boots. He's got his total snow gear on. And I just remember, like, this was a game changer. You had to have that figure. By far the coolest one of the Empire Strikes Back. He's knocked off his tauntaun and, yeah, so then here are 2 biker scouts. We have both variants here. This is the long masked on this one here, and then you've got the short mask, which I think was a Lily Lady Mexico release. You can see there's 2 different mask styles there. This one's a little bit fatter, and this one's a little bit thinner. So, and he had that really cool weapon. One of them is in there, where it was the biker scout blaster. Of course, you had to have the speeder bike that went with too, you know, to reenact the scene. Gotta have Admiral Akbar, right? It's a trap. So he is one of the Mon Calamari leaders of the rebellion against the second Death Star. And he had a staff. It was a really neat staff. It had like really intricate design, but not in there. I must have lost that somewhere. Let's see what else we got here. We got Lando Skiff Guard Disguise. Must have for any collector. This was, he's got his Force Pike. He does not have his helmet though. He came with a really cool Skiff Guard helmet. I remember the commercials for this in, on Saturday mornings watching cartoons. It'd be like, surprise, it's Lando in disguise. And then he would help save Luke. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, yes. We have a Walrus Man. Man, Walrus Man was by far one of the creepiest, coolest figures. He is, got his orange shirt on there, and he gets his arm cut off in the original New Hope. Great figure, classic figure. You got to have that one. This one came out later on 2 different cards, I remember. He came out with the Power of the Force card, and this was an AT-ST driver. He's got his sunglasses down, which was different from the AT-AT Commander. He's got that helmet on and stuff, and you really needed him to battle your Ewoks and stuff like that and cause some mischief for them. Oh, by far one of my favorite. By far one of my favorites. You had to have Bespin Luke. This was a must-have for any collector. He came out with 2 different hairstyles. So, like, this is the blonde one, and there is a brown-haired one, too. He's got his blaster in there, and I think he came with a yellow lightsaber. It is not here. I don't know where that is. Probably lost. Again, those were really small weapons that were really easy to lose. Here is a micro... what are they? Not micro machines, but micro something of the micro collection is what it was. These are all snow troopers. It tells me somewhere in the storage unit there's probably a whole bunch of micro collections at some point. Let's see what we got here. This is Lady Gorish or something like that. She's a Lady Duloc. She's the female version of the Dulocs. Comes with a coin, and I don't know if she comes with a weapon or not, but oh, just really weird looking characters, which I thought were pretty cool. Along with that series is Logray. Logray, I don't know if he comes with a staff or not, but here he is in his cartoon version, and he has a coin, a gold coin with him that was part of the Droids line. Here is the original Return of the Jedi Logray, much different. And he has a staff in there. He's got a removable helmet with that skull on there, and he's got this pouch. Really cool figure. Towards the end of the line, they came with all these different accessories and stuff. Like I said, maybe to compete with the G.I. Joes that were coming out. Ewoks, we've got Chief Chirpa here. Chief Chirpa had that headdress that was removable and stuff. He came with the staff, but I don't have the staff. That is probably lost, or maybe it is in here in this bag of weapons. All right, so obviously I didn't match these with any of the characters, but you can see there's the whole bag of weapons in there that that go along with these figures. I just have to sit down and match them. It looks like there's rifles, there are staffs and sticks and batons and all sorts of stuff in there. So I'll have to go through that. Let's see what else we have here. I don't know how this got in here, but it definitely got mashed in the time. This was a Bend-ems. At some point in, I think, the 90s or something like that, they came out with these Bend-em figures to get people, I don't know, still interested in them. Like, some of them came with cards and stuff like that. Not a fan. All right, enough said. Let's move on. Here is Nien Nunb. He is one of the rebel leaders, one of the rebel pilots who helps Lando fly the Millennium Falcon in the very end. And he came with a gun and stuff like that too. He was a real neat character. He had that lip and stuff like that that kind of looked kind of like fish and stuff like that, like a fish. But definitely a cool figure, and a hat that went along with that. We have Endor Han. This, you know, if you went to Toys R Us, you went to KB's or something like that, or Service Merchandise, Circus World, these were on the pegs almost all the time. They're just like a plethora of Han Solos. Now, he did, I believe he came with an original blaster too. There's one in there at the bottom. And I know that there are two different lapels. I don't know, I can't tell on this if this is the actual variant for the lapels, but there's one where the camouflage went over the entire lapel, and then there was one that it didn't. Just a different stitch job, and just a variant that some people collect. Got another heavy bag of these micro collection. These are all Hoth soldiers. So again, somewhere in one of these storage units, there is probably a box of these micro machines of Hoth. And I know that you had to mail away for some of these guys too, to get the complete set. Here is Kia Mal. She is from the Droids line. Again, she's got this real punk rock haircut, which is like really popular back in the 80s and stuff like that. You know, punk rock, MTV, a lot of this stuff was hitting the scene. So a lot of these characters had more of that punkish look. Again, I think it would have been a sweet bridge if in the Book of Fett, when they find those misfits and stuff like that to help Fett's army out, that they use these characters to a tie-in. So there's some screenwriters listening. There's my idea. Here is a Klaatu skiff guard. There were two Klaatus. This one had his skiff guard outfit. He was one of Jabba's henchmen on the barge. He had a big force pike here, but it looks like maybe that's broken on the tip. It looks like it's kind of rough there in the edge. But that was definitely a sweet one. General Crix Madine. Here is, talk about a peg warmer. This guy, you know, was on the shelf for years and years and years after the Star Wars movie were over. This guy, you could find him anytime, any place, anywhere. He had a white staff or something with it too. I don't have that, but definitely kind of like, if you had one of those, wasn't the most exciting character. Here is Uncle Gundy. Uncle Gundy came in the Droids line. Again, you know, that'd be pretty sweet if he made an appearance in the Book of Fett or something like that. He is, says Prospector on the coin. I think he came with the same gun, if I remember, as Reese, the alien that we saw yesterday in episode 1 in Jabba's ship, or episode, the movie was Return of the Jedi, episode 8. So, episode 6. What am I doing? All right, with that, let's see. We've got a Tusken Raider here. This is from the original line. He's missing his stick, but he still has his vinyl cape on there. This is another variant edition. He's got the full tubes that are like sealed and stuff like that. I know that there are a hollow tube Tusken Raider. We've got some more Micro Machine Stormtroopers here. It's a whole bag of those. We have a, looks like to me, this looks like G.I. Joe stuff. I had one G.I. Joe cannon. That looks like what that is. Oh, we have Wicket. Wicket the Ewok. Yes, you got to have Wicket. So he came with, this looks like he came with maybe a Power of the Foy. Nope, that's Warrock in there. So Warrock coin, but that is Wicket. And I know that, I think Wicket also came out on a Power of the Force card. At the end, again, you've got these coins and stuff that they were putting in the package. These are miniatures that went to the Sarlacc the Pit game. There's an old game with Sarlacc the Pit, and that was the only way that you could get it. I don't think I have that one anymore. I don't know or not. Well, we'll find out when we open up some more of these boxes. Got a Lando General. This was the last 17. Soft goods. He's got that cape. He comes with a coin. I think he probably came with a blaster too. It was the famous end of the scene of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, you know, you're a general. Hey, smuggler. You know, so they have this great end of the conversation, and before they blow up that Death Star, and it's actually Lando in this outfit with 9 Nub that fly the Falcon and blow up the Death Star, the second Death Star. We got a couple loose snow troopers here. These were part of that micro collection. I have 2 things left. This was the original Droid Factory R2-D2. So you could only get that third leg. You can see that third leg is right here. You could only get that third leg if you had the Droid Factory. So somewhere I've got that Droid Factory in one of those boxes somewhere, but this is definitely a cool piece. You can see that with time, just the sticker that came along with it has kind of worn off. The sticky on it has. And then here's my last thing that I'll go through today, and this is a bag of just kind of like random parts. It looks like there's a 12-inch blaster in there, probably for Han or Luke. Looks like a ripped Lando's cape. It looks like a bag of take apart C-3PO leg, a couple original blasters and stuff in there. And yeah, so that's kind of what we have for this episode 2. I hope that you guys have enjoyed. I have Darth Jake right here. He wants to say goodbye to you. May the Force be with you. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you like, hit subscribe. We're going to open up some more boxes again tomorrow, next week. So stay tuned. I've got 30, 40 more boxes of this stuff to go through. All right? Signing off. Star Wars Vintage Guy. Have a good one.